If you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. I'm not trying to sell you on this idea in the sense of converting you to it. I want you to play with it. I want you to think of its possibilities. I'm not trying to prove it. I'm just putting it forward as a possibility of life to think about. So then, let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality, not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not.
Back at it again.
Yep. Like almost a month to the day, I think.
Yeah, man. It's been for whatever reason it feels longer than typical. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that we haven't, like, typically even in between we exchange texts and stuff, but since you've been traveling, we haven't really talked all that much. So that's probably why it feels much longer. Yeah,
maybe so. God damn, I'm wild. Maybe so. Yeah, we didn't. I mean, I had service while I was out of the country, but not. I mean, it worked sporadically. When we were at the hotel, the Wi-Fi worked, but that was about it. And we just really weren't on our phones most of the time.
Which is the point.
Although my phone takes insane pictures, so I had to use it to take pictures at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun trip.
That is there any more?
Yeah, dude, it was. I mean, it's the best place I've ever been to. So,
and where was this again?
Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Guanacaste is like the province, which would be kind of like the state, like equivalent to a state in Costa Rica. But there, Costa Rica is the size of West Virginia. So, but Guanacaste, and then within that was Las Catalinas. And it's a town that's only like 10 years old or something. And it looks like that, but it looks like ancient architecture, but we were at a resort like up on the hill overlooking the city and the I guess it was a bay. No, it was it was the ocean, but it was just like a cove, like a perfect almost circle with 2 beaches on it. And then like I said, our resort was at the top, and our resort was just that's my dog. Sorry.
Yeah. It's
going off. Of course, it has to happen while we're recording, and Lydia's not here.
Yeah.
But the resort was literally just like kind of like an open air area where the concierge sat, and then like chairs for people to relax in. And then you walk on a path that's kind of uphill a little bit, but not, tiring or anything. And it's just all like garden that whole way up, like flowers everywhere and stuff. And then it's a huge open air bar and restaurant with a massive infinity pool in front of it. And that's really the whole resort. And it's just that. And then it's like, incredible. They have a golf cart to take you down to the beach, or you just walk for like 5 minutes. And then your like little, I don't even know what it's called, like a bungalow or something that you stay in, was completely like sectioned off private, so you couldn't see anyone else and they couldn't see you, but there was no TV in there. It was just completely glass, like out front facing the ocean, and where like the sunset. They upgraded us for some reason, just because. I guess because we kept a reservation with them for a year through COVID and rescheduled twice. So,
oh, wow.
But yeah, it was, amazing. And then we saw, all sorts of animals, went in the jungle. We tried to walk to one of the beaches that was like, they told us when we checked in, like, don't go to the one down here right in front of the city or little town, like go across the way to the other beach. It's like, there's not a lot of people there. It's better water, not as many shells. So we went, and it looked like the tide was in, and we were like, all right, well, we got to go on through this jungle trail. We can see it. It can't be that far. We were in like flip-flops. And
oh, fuck.
It was fine at first. There was lizards running everywhere, but and Lydia hated that, but I thought it was cool as shit. And then all of a sudden it took a very steep uphill turn, like for a while. We were walking for like 20 minutes, like mostly uphill. Hiking is what it's called, I believe. And then we finally got to the beach, and it's so fucking hot and sunny there. Like, you basically lay under a tree most of the time if you're not in the water. And then we look over to our left, and people are just walking across the beach to it from the other beach. Like, I guess the tide went out while we were up there, or we just didn't look close enough. We didn't know how to get there. It was our first day there. And then we just walked across the beach on the way back. It was like 5 minutes. Just easy, pretty much. On some rocks, but it was fine. Yeah, for doing ATVs through the jungle, that was pretty wild. I've never gone on one of those tours when I've gone out of the country, but it was pretty sweet. Yeah.
Damn, that sounds pretty cool. I've been to Mexico and the DR and stuff, and done those ATV things. Those have always been my favorite part of those trips, because it's smaller, poorer countries, so. Like, you do stuff like that in America here. There's so many rules around it. Where they're like, I'm like, hey, can I gun it down this stretch? And they're like, yup.
Yeah, he would hold up suggestions of like 3, 4, 5, like what gear to be in on the ATV. And Lydia was having a little trouble with that, because we were driving through like water. Like, we were driving through streams and stuff. Like, and there were howler monkeys everywhere. It was pretty cool. But she... instead of being in like second gear through the water, like to what he told us to be, she was in like third or fourth, and it was just spinning tires all over the place and kicking up dirt onto me and mud. But I was just flying on that thing. It was awesome. I haven't ridden one since I was like 12 years old. And it was just like, oh god, I'm gonna do some reckless shit on this.
Man. And I understand Lydia's family's from Costa Rica, right? That's where she's.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. I always get those mixed up. Okay,
close.
So Puerto Rico. Yeah. Close. Are those in vicinity? How close are those two places?
Puerto Rico is more towards like the Bahamas and stuff. It's an island.
Okay, that's right.
Because that's a U.S. territory. Costa Rica is in between Guatemala and something else. I forget.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little ways further than
it's like one or two countries separated from Mexico, and then the same from South America.
Okay. Yeah. Damn. I always get that.
It's right in that little curve, and we were on the outside of that curve, like towards the Pacific Ocean. Mm-hmm. Water was always cold, and it was summer there, so it was like 90 degrees while we were there.
Wow. I always get the Rico and the Rica.
I was actually weirdly enough, I was looking that up while we were in Costa Rica. I was like, what does the Rica mean, and what does the Puerto Rico mean? Yeah. I gave up after probably not very long because we were drinking heavily, but it popped into my head, and I definitely remember Googling that. I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, and I don't know why I get
it's obviously
them so
something in Spanish,
confused.
but I don't remember.
It has to mean something, and a male and female version of something.
Apparently, so we also went on a riverboat, like I would call it a riverboat cruise, but it was literally us two and one girl that was on vacation in Costa Rica by herself with two guides and a boat captain because it was COVID time and no one. I mean, we wore a mask and everything.
Was she cute?
Most of the time. My wife?
No, you said there was one girl.
Yeah. Not particularly, no.
Oh, okay.
No, but I don't know.
Yeah,
just
your
like
wife, was she cute?
backpacking by herself, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we, like, I guess she was staying at the same place we were, and or at least in that town down by us, and we followed her van out there. It was like an hour and a half drive to get there, and but we drove through all the sugarcane fields that they have there. And we learned, literally, our guide knew fucking everything about Costa Rica. He's been a tour guide for like 25 years, and his family did it. He did it when he was a kid, I think he said. But he took us to this like local restaurant where we, had local food, and it was probably the best meal I had while I was there. But sugarcane fields are dangerous as fuck. Apparently, they are sharp as shit, and they can cut you like deep. So you have to wear like protective clothing when they go in there. And they're just full of poisonous snakes. Yeah. I was like, oh, good to know. I'll never do that.
Yeah. I guess what? Why? Because of the sugar that attracts
I don't know. No, I think it's probably the shade. It's just like a cornfield. They grow tall as shit.
Oh. So they're not actually these poisonous things aren't eating the sugar.
You know what it is? It's because they have so many rodents there in the fields.
Right.
That's why the snakes are there. That's what he told us.
Dude, that makes a lot of sense.
I actually had a Coke while I was there, like a Coca-Cola.
With real sugar?
Dude, it was different.
It's different. It's not even the same thing.
It almost, weirdly enough, tasted like a Diet Coke. It's like, it was like, oh, it tastes lighter. Maybe not like a Diet Coke, but not like you're drinking syrup. Yeah, and I don't drink sodas very often, but I was just like, I had no caffeine while I was there whatsoever, and I one morning woke up hungover and just drank it. I was like, whoa, this is on another level from American made Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've had the same experience. Like I went to when I was in the DR, and I had like a Fanta or something like that, and it was the most delicious thing I've ever. I was like, "What the fuck is this hitting my lips?"
They're
bro?
not poisoning their people.
Like, what is?
I mean, sugar in large quantities is still bad, but
yeah, of course. But the taste of
it's amazing when it's real.
Yeah, you can't even literally call it the same drink. It tastes so different. Yeah, but that's awesome, man. You guys had such a good time.
We had that lunch, and then we went on that tour, and we saw a ton of crocodiles. Like, 5 feet away. This boat captain was just like right up in there, and he could just see them. They were completely camouflaged to me till he pointed them out, but they were like right on the fucking banks, and I got amazing pictures of them. But also it was kind of wild seeing them that close. They're scary as shit.
Yeah, no, I certainly. When I was in Africa, we went on this safari, and we were not too far from some hippopotamuses and some.
Those are scary.
I believe those
way scarier.
Yeah, and crocodiles, because hippos are very territorial. And the guy, he had an AK-47, and he was like, at first we were walking, chilling when we were around the lions, but when it came to the hippos, he was clearly agitated. He was like, I have to be ready at a moment's notice and when you are that close to an animal that fucking big, bruh, it is indescribable the size of a hippopotamus. Yeah. They make every other, except an elephant, they dwarf everything else.
And they kill the most people per year, right?
Easily. Easily.
Those shits are big.
They are so massive, man, and it's scary. It's like it's beautiful and scary all at the same time. And I don't, when you're watching the Discovery Channel and stuff like that, you're like, oh, I wish I could get that close to these elegant creatures, but these are killer machines. And when you're that close and you're that keenly aware that if this animal decided to change its mind and attack us, we are fucked. That's not a great feeling.
I guess the males average between, the scale is between 3,300 and 4,000 pounds.
Jesus.
And then 11 to 17 feet in length.
It's stupid, bro.
That's insane. That's a massive animal. Yeah.
We saw a very big crocodile. We got really close to that one because crocodiles, if they decide to act funny, it's a little bit of a slower, like, I'm not saying you shouldn't be worried, but you're not as worried as you are with hippos. And this was a large adult male crocodile that was eating well, and it looked small next to the hippo. So to give you because people, I think, can picture crocodiles and alligators a lot better. Whatever the biggest alligator or crocodile you've seen, it made that shit look tiny.
Yeah, what do they get up to though?
What does what get up to?
Oh yeah, they only crocodiles 2,200 pounds. That's still very big.
I mean, like that shit would snap you in half with one clamp down. But like hippos are on a different level, man. It's a scary animal, man.
Yeah, it was. I had not finished Sapiens yet. And I went back and
you started that a while ago.
I did. And just other things. And I have so many audiobooks I listen to like consecutively. It's hard to even keep track where I was. But while I was on vacation, it was very easy to focus on, that book. But like reading about how humans slaughtered all the natural, like, massive species in North America and South America when we finally crossed the like land bridge just thinking about this, it's like, how big did they used to be? I would, as humans, I'm not surprised at all because we'd probably feel threatened by something much bigger than that. Once they got to this size, we were like, that's still pushing it, but we'll let it slide.
Yeah. I mean, just like with
rules
bears
now.
yeah. Just like with the bears, right? Bears used to have a much larger population in places like California, and they just got to a point where they were like, look, I mean, as if we let bears exist in the capacity that they do, we are going to have to rationally accept a good amount of people dying every year from bears, right?
Bears are
so so they were like, well, we could either do that or we could just slaughter them all. And they basically killed off the most of the bear population in California, so that way humans can live a comfortable life and not have to deal with the threat of a bear.
California was still very wild, I guess, because it was one of the last, states conquered and populated.
Yeah,
there's a lot of wilderness still. It's huge.
Yeah, and it's such. I was going to say, it's such a large landmass that to eradicate large animals from there is a lot harder than, say, like a Virginia, where the square mileage is not anywhere near what California is.
Yeah, but I guess the humans or Homo sapiens that came into like America or North America and South America, they also did it for food. I mean that.
Oh yeah, surely.
We don't necessarily do it for food now.
Yeah,
like,
no, just
chicken
safety.
is very easy to catch and eat and produce, I guess. So
yeah,
we're going to do that and not risk our lives for some mammoth meat.
Yeah,
although they're all gone because we did that real. We went hard at that. We went real hard at mammoths. they're trying to bring them back. Goddamn.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Something about that fur we didn't like. I don't know why. Naked elephants are fine, but mammoths.
Yeah.
No.
I do find it interesting how we can't really coexist with many other creatures, especially creatures that eat meat. We just can't do it, man.
Well, it's competition. It's top, who's competing top of the food chain. Like naturally, me and a lion's gonna win every time, 10 out of 10. I don't stand a chance with my bare hands against a lion. It's just not gonna happen. Even a dog, bro. If a dog changes his mind, you're done. Frank might take me down if I didn't know his moves. I know him now, but a foreign dog or one I don't know. But it's I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just thinking about this conversation, I'm like, would it be worth it to just keep a certain amount of wildlife just out and about? Because think about how different it would make us act. Like, fat people wouldn't be a thing, right?
Yeah, that was Louis C.K. was talking about the cheetah at the train station.
As I was having this fucking train of thought, I thought of him and I was like, oh, this is how he came to that thought.
Cheetah at the train station. Oh God, he's a genius.
That's how it happened. That's how it had to have happened.
Yeah,
bro.
right. They were like, before we can have a train station, we got to get rid of all the cheetahs around this area, or at least make a way for them to go somewhere else.
Yeah, man. And I always think about how curious we are as human beings, how we need such particular circumstances, particular temperatures, particular settings. And I just wonder, what if we were forced to kind of daily deal with other animals and insects and creatures?
A lot of other problems would be insignificant.
Right.
Can we push the meeting? I got bit by a wolf again. It happens. It happened. Third time this year. If we hadn't domesticated dogs and it was just a bunch of wild dogs and wolves running around.
Yeah, no, I just, would it be better? Obviously, I mean, you have to make the
would it be better? A lot more people would be dying.
Me included, dude. I'm not saying
I'm pretty sure you're describing a period that happened already.
Oh yeah, of course, yes.
They just didn't have the technology, but they definitely had the weapons. I mean, guns have evolved, but not a ton. Not a ton. There hasn't been a ton of innovation and bullet go that way.
We're not shooting ray guns in this bitch.
Not yet. The military.
I wonder whether we overshot it though. And I mean, I guess almost every animal rights.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Most people would say we overshot it.
Oh yeah,
we didn't have to kill the animals.
Yeah, there's so many
we did.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was inadvertently. They say there have been studies that the rise in temperature has killed off certain species of animal, and what coral is one of the biggest ones that it's well, why did we fuck that up? That's not hurting nobody. It's under the water. You only see it if you look for it, but it's awesome to look at. What the fuck? The whole Great Barrier Reef, the whole thing.
I know. That's
now
sad.
It's not even. It's just called the Barrier Reef. It lost its fucking title. It has to be.
Damn. Interesting story about that. When I was in Mexico, I actually went and saw a pretty significant reef, and all of it was what ends up happening. It was completely bleached white, and typically they say when we went scuba diving in this part of the ocean that you're supposed to be just surrounded by stingrays and even some sharks, and it's just supposed to be teeming with life. And we went and we saw one stingray, and the entire coral reef was bleach white. And interestingly enough, more than global warming, what actually does, according to our guide, what does the most harm to these areas of life under the water, and around reefs and stuff, is sunscreen.
Oh shit! Yeah,
people getting in the water with sunscreen, and that shit is very toxic to those life forms, and that contributes.
Gotta wear clothes to the beach. Gotta wear clothes to the beach
or something. But sunscreen has been shown to actually kill a lot. So it's
I guess I contributed a little bit while I was in Costa Rica.
If you're getting in the water with sunscreen, then
I did.
It's fucked up because I mean, I don't blame people for wearing sunscreen because they don't want to get cancer. But at the same time, it's all right, if you're gonna wear sunscreen,
it's a trade off.
The water.
Yeah, it's a trade off. Or they gotta fix sunscreen.
Or fix sunscreen.
I guess there's certain brands that probably say all natural.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know what you're putting on your skin. Yogurt.
If a baby orca drinks this, it'll gain 5 times in strength. I'm sure there's some stupid shit out there.
I'd use that. That sounds good. Go, Porpoise.
yeah, man. But yeah, that's cool. But I mean, it's awesome that you guys got to enjoy your honeymoon, even though it was during COVID. At least, you know, you probably got a lot more privacy, got to see a lot more things freely without having to deal with a bunch of tourists and stuff. So
yeah, cool. And because last time we went was with CDW, a trip I won with HP, and it was like 4 days, I think. But it was also like a lot of events organized by them with work people, and it's like it was nice not to. We haven't been on a vacation with just each other in 4 years, something like that. Yeah, so it's always been with work or other people in some capacity, family or friends, something. So yeah, it was nice. It's just easier that way. You know, you're younger and whatever, where people are footing the bill and stuff like that. It's just like, well, it kind of counts as a vacation, and our shit is getting paid for, so fuck it. You know, and then you don't realize how much you're losing in going on vacations like that until you get the ability to go on the vacation one-on-one, and you're like, oh, this is a whole lot better with just us two than a bunch of other people being involved. Yeah, it was awesome. Plus, just getting out of America at the time, right after, which should, I guess, be our next topic. The insurrection happened, and then we left the next week. So it was like, okay, well, I think it's a good time. It's a good time to get out for a little bit, see what happens, and then just in case shit went down. If we don't have to go back, we don't have to. We might be able to find jobs here or something. I heard the tax laws in Costa Rica are pretty. Maybe they are. I don't know. There were a lot of cheap areas for sale, like cheap houses or places to build a house, and amazing houses still that were probably built for nothing. Nothing to, you know, some people that are there, but you know. Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I don't really have much to say about that, and I know people might find that hypocritical because I've been pretty hard against the left side and liberal side of things, and how I feel like they incite some pretty toxic trains of thoughts in our society. I don't want to be easy on what happened on January 6th. It was all out heinous, bro. I thought you were talking about something with Costa Rica, and I was just like, what is he talking about? No. And then you said that, and I was like, all right, sorry, go ahead. No. It's like, because there's really not much I could really say about what the fuck happened on January 6th. Like, it was pandemonium. It was fucked up. It should have never happened. The police should have acted sooner. The people shouldn't have done what they did. It was an all-around shitty, stupid, fucked situation, and I wish it had never happened, because I think there was conservatives had a foothold, kind of saying like, all right, liberals, y'all are fucking up a little bit, y'all need to give the power over to us, let us correct course, and all of that flew out the window with January 6th. It was like, now nobody has any foot to stand on. Everyone thinks liberals are crazy because of that woke shit. Now everybody thinks conservatives are crazy because of January 6th. And now I don't see how anybody can now come to any point of agreement given what happened on that day. It was a terrible day for America. Like, there's no question. Yeah, as you said, there's not a lot to say. I saw a lot of scared, stupid, angry people doing all of those types of things, and it wasn't fun to watch. Although my mom, for some reason, she says it's like Sixth Sense, or she watches the news like 24/7, especially now that she has YouTube TV and can watch it on her fucking phone. But she told me like 30 minutes before shit started going wild to turn on the news. And I was just like, what channel? Like, I don't even know. So I just was scrolling through YouTube, looking at different channels, and I think it was on CNBC, maybe. And everything started. And then I looked up and saw, the girl that got shot. They had it on video, like her coming out on the stretcher. And I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, she has a sixth sense for when things are about to go down, apparently. She's texted me multiple times to turn on the news just over the course of our texting, lifespan. And it's just very strange. Yeah, that shit was nutty.
And I know like a lot of people who knew that I voted for Trump or that I'm a more conservative leaning person in my values just used it as an opportunity. Oh, the text, bro. All the texts of these vindicated motherfuckers. You see, I told you, your side is trash. You're the worst. Fuck you. And I'm like, yo, what good does that do? Mm. I didn't understand why people would use that as an opportunity to say, you see, we were right. Like, nah, like there's been a lot of shitty stuff going on in our country for at least for sure the past 8 to 10 months during this COVID thing. I don't know. I don't want to sound like, oh, why don't we use this as a time to come together when it's like what is perceived as my side making a mistake. But genuinely, objectively speaking, that shit was horrendous and it should have never happened. But that being said, can we genuinely use it as a time to say we need to make sure something like that never, ever, ever happens again? And how do we do that? Because I don't think pointing fingers is the right solution. I don't think saying, hey, you see, I told you your side sucked. Now go fuck yourself. I don't think that's how things get done. I don't think that's how things have ever gotten done. So that's a bit of an issue I've been experiencing lately. But I just hope that, you know, what's the phrase? Like every action has a greater or has an equal or greater reaction. So I hope that the people on the other side of things don't use it as a chance to react in an even crazier way. You know,
yeah,
I just hope there's a de-escalation of the situation, not an escalation.
Yeah, hopefully that happens. Escalation would be bad. I did see that I don't know what, Homeland Security maybe put like a warning out for not white supremacist groups. I don't even remember domestic terrorist groups. Mm. I mean, because it's not all white supremacists, I would assume.
Of course,
probably. Maybe
mostly
a lot of the groups, yeah, but but that was the first time they've ever done that, like that they've been willing to put out something like that. So it's, I guess, a sign of what happened at the Capitol, but at the same time, hopefully it doesn't mean more for the future.
Yeah, it would be. I know for me, I'd be scared shitless if that's what it was an indication of. I don't think there is a resurgence or insurgence of white nationalists. I don't think what happened at the Capitol was white nationalists. Were some of them white nationalists? Of course. But do I think that was the motivating that was an overarching ideology amongst the people who did what they did? I don't think so. But again, what I'm afraid of is that people start getting lumped into these groups and say, we now have a right to marginalize you or treat you a certain way because you fall into this group. And that's my fear. I hope that is not a reaction to that situation.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of always been a thing. Like, no matter who's president or who's in office, what party is in office, that, back and forth of, saying shit to one another. I've seen. It just seems like the same shit over and over again to me. Like it's the same shit in a different year with a different look, but it's the same shit. It's just one side doing the same shit to the other side when they just got that done to them for 4 years or 8 years or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was trying to get Lydia to watch Vice last night. You know what that movie is about? Dick Cheney.
Oh yeah, I've watched that.
Yeah, with Christian Bale is fat as hell playing Dick Cheney. But just it I feel like that is a perfect encapsulation of seeing kind of behind the scenes a little bit. I'm sure it's obviously some of it's dramatized, but seeing what one side does and then the other side comes in and tries to undo and do the opposite of what that side did. And then the next side comes in, which was the side from 2 sides ago, and they try to put it back to where the other person did. It's just a revolving door of the shit happening over and over again. So it's not surprising. The Capitol thing was surprising. That's never happened before. But most of the other shit is pretty by the book. Obviously, with COVID, it's different because we haven't done anything. We're almost at a year of it, but we haven't, done new president in COVID dealing with all that shit before.
Yeah, and I feel like what happened on January 6th was predictable. You locked up a bunch of people who lost their only sources of income, and you locked them up with the internet. Now, I am bought into
they
the
put
idea.
Out warnings before this shit.
Yeah.
And didn't have enough people there to even deal with a crowd of that size. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I'm of the belief if that we had been in this lockdown without the internet, things don't happen the way they do. The flame to the fire of this pandemic is that you locked up people in their houses, and instead of turning to each other and having conversations, it feels like a majority of people just dove deeper and deeper into their corner of the internet and became more and more
they had to
extreme in their views.
Well, and they didn't have to do, but the internet was, everything you touch now, except, I don't know, a book, personal interactions, but obviously we're talking about a limit of those. Mm-hmm. Everything touches it. It's still new, weirdly enough, because people are like finding different ways to. It does. We're still in it. We're still in it.
Yeah, and I feel like the pandemic was an even further experiment. Like, what happens if you give people the internet and keep them shut down with that is the only thing that all of them will access? What will happen with that? What happens if you lock people up with the internet? What is the result? And I don't think that anything other than what happened. I don't think anything that other than what happened with the George Floyd thing and January 6th. I don't think anything else could have happened, because all those two groups of people were internet versions of themselves.
Yeah, but it's also like that brings into question the
internet coming to life.
That brings into question, like, what do you do about people that does free speech come into play here with how people post and interact and organize?
Good question. Okay, I've been thinking about that. I'll let you finish your thought, though.
That was I have no idea. Obviously, to some companies it does not, because they're privately held. Is Twitter private?
Yeah. Twitter, Facebook, private. All Instagram. They all can make a decision.
In Facebook, can you?
Well, they're public. But they're private companies. They're not government companies.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
They're in the private sector.
Yes, correct. So this is what I've been thinking of. The guy who was the director of the ACLU got on Rogan, and he's a staunch advocate of free speech. He has defended Ku Klux Klan members' rights to march freely, and I'm on the same page with him. I would support a Ku Klux Klan's members' right to free speech over a black person advocating to suppress their free speech. Every day of the week, I'm choosing that side, because it's about, I think bad ideas must have light shed on them. Keep them out in their open, because you need to see bad ideas as they grow. It's much easier to point out a growing tide of something like Nazism and stamp it out quicker than if you let it swell from the ground and you never look at it. It can catch you off guard far before you're prepared. So that's my take on it.
And they shut down that is it Parler? Is that what the app was called?
Yeah, they took it off of everything.
Yeah, they shut it down because I guess it was filled with that type of stuff, organization of those type of groups.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been on Parler. That's what they say. But I always question when I'm hearing liberals say, "Oh, it was only racists on there." Then immediately I'm like, it probably wasn't. So
I don't know where that came from. I'm assuming they did some sort of research, but I know that downloads of other apps just went up after that. So good for those other apps.
right, exactly.
But Signal, I think, was the one that started going up Signal. After that. It's any like private messaging app, anything that's not WhatsApp.
The co-founder of that was on Rogan as well.
Signal. Yeah, I think I downloaded it like way long ago, but I thought it wasn't as good as just using the stock one or Google Messages.
Yeah, and he was obviously arguing for free speech, and he brought up a very interesting point, which is it's a question that I'm asking myself that I haven't really found the answer to, and he basically said, have we reached a point? Well, he didn't say this, but this is the question I asked myself after he finished saying what he was saying, and that is, do we have to reconsider how we think about free speech? And here's why I asked that. Because previously, if you were to stand on your pulpit in the middle of the square and shout whatever you wanted to try to garner some attention, the number of people you could reach was very limited. Now, you could be one of the few who reached a large number of people, but that was the likelihood of that was significantly smaller than today. Now, today, me and you, we're probably never going to get even 50,000 listens to our podcast. That's okay. But we still have the ability for our podcast to be heard by 100 million people, where before that level of access was not, you just couldn't. You were located, you were restricted to your geography, right?
Yeah.
And so now the fact that you can say something that could potentially reach 3 billion people, do we now have to recodify our free speech laws? I don't know what the answer to that is, because this level of exposure has never existed.
Yeah, you're right. It hasn't. Like you'd hear something days later from someone who heard it from someone, and it'd be way different by the time you heard it. So that's also what it is. It's accurate information instantly. Like, I mean, obviously a lot of it's not accurate, but if it is accurate, it is instant. So it's like, that's never been available, like, worldwide. It's I don't know what to think about it either. It's weird because, I mean, yeah, private company, do what you want. That's up to you. You can do whatever you want. That's what it means. But I don't know. There's it's not good.
I just don't know, because you know how I feel about free speech. I'm extremely passionate about it. It's why I do this. Is I want to give other people out there the implant the seed in their brain that if they think differently from the group that they are categorized as, that they can feel free to express those thoughts and opinions and revel in it, because that's what makes them unique. And so I am so bought into that idea, but I'm at a crossroads now, because what do you do with the person who is trying to start anarchy, who is trying to start mass genocide, who then also can reach 2 billion people instantly? I don't know how to grapple with that.
I guess the fact that, I mean, obviously some like forums, chat rooms, whatever are private, but I mean, I'm sure the FBI and other law enforcement agencies investigate shit that people post all the time, because it's like you have free speech, but like you're giving up your right to privacy by posting this. Like if you're, it depends on your privacy settings, who's your friends, whatever. I don't know how it works on most of them, but I mean, you're kind of giving up your right to that privacy by posting something like that. It's not like a diary that you're writing in that nobody can see. As you said, it can go to anyone, anywhere. Like anything can go viral at any minute,
But here's the problem with that, though. Yes, the FBI may be monitoring various people who are under suspicion and say, we need to watch this guy. But as what happened on January 6th and with the George Floyd protests will show you, that violence doesn't always happen through very nefarious speech. Go out and harm, go out and kill, go out and set fire. It can just become passionate after the fact. And the language being used could be like, Black Lives Matter, we can't let this happen anymore. Well, you, as an FBI agent, what, are you going to arrest that person for saying that? But enough people feeling that passionately about that can lead to billions of dollars in property damage and people dying, right? So that's the scary thing about it, that it can become something out of something that seems so innocuous initially. So
I don't know if that ever seemed that way, because that little rally that Trump had to, like, it was almost like a gather the troops, like get them riled up and then go. It was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? I've never seen some shit like this.
Oh yeah, and this is the comment I've always made is when the right goes too far, it is very noticeable, right? It's always like when people start marching in Charlottesville, when people storm the Capitol, when the right goes too far, it is so blatant, and we're so geared towards recognizing that it's you'll have movements like that are very easy to spot. But the issue is when the left goes too far, it is far less noticeable, and it can be far more disastrous because it is a slow-moving, innocuous thing. When people are saying, like, think about what the Communist Manifesto is, or Maoist China, and the tenets of their beliefs. If you read the tenets, you'd be like,
are they right or left?
Left. Maoist stuff, that's all left.
And then
communism is left.
Okay.
That's left. Yep, that's the extreme version of the left.
And I know it's a religion, but it's definitely more of a political thing as well. But like terrorist groups that we've fought, the original terrorists that gathered that name, from whatever Middle Eastern country. Mm-hmm. What side is that? That would be right?
I think you would classify that as right
because it's super conservative, right?
Yes, religion is extreme, so that's the right. Yep.
And that's why, because when you said the right goes, it goes big basically when it goes too far. It's like I was just thinking, who else kind of goes to that extreme? Not, I mean, obviously different with terrorist attacks, but it's like, who else goes to an extreme is what my mind went to, and I don't know. I never thought about what side that would be.
Yeah, it's the right
on the political spectrum.
Yeah, order, religion, conservatism, that's all the right.
Yeah.
And that's what's scary about the left, and which is why I rail so hard against it. And I think I'm a lefty as far as I'm concerned, but what I say makes people believe otherwise, because I'm so, like, you're harshest against the things you care about the most. And I do care about the left, right? Because I feel like I'm a lefty at heart. Like, I want gay people to fuck each other happily and put a ring on it. Like, I want people to smoke weed in the comfort of their home. Like do all of that shit. I don't give a fuck. I want prostitution to be legal. Like, what conservative has those beliefs? But that being said, the reason I'm so critical of the left is because I understand how the Black Lives Matter, feed the poor, help the hungry, how quickly that can dissolve into murder. Remember, Mao killed 60 million people, right? So, like, every time the left has gone too far, it has killed in multitudes greater than the right going too far. Yes, Hitler went too far. He killed 6 million people. Mao went too far. Stalin went too far. They killed almost 100 million people, because that's the issue with the left going too far is the language sounds perfect. So people go, well, I want to help black people, so I guess. And with that attitude,
there should be some classification of like cultist leftist, because that's what those more so sound like. Because with the as you said, like romanticized language and stuff like that, making it sound great. That's, I mean, that's cult 101 right there.
Yeah.
Like making it sound like it's too good to be true, basically, which it is. Normally. Yeah. And then you either end up killing yourself or get killed, I guess.
Yeah. And then you commandeer the language in a way that makes it almost difficult to almost makes it impossible to have conversations. Like, take, for example, if I told you I don't agree with Black Lives Matter, if they've done something so brilliant, I have to say, that if if everybody knows, if I say I don't agree with the phrase Black Lives Matter, I'm disagreeing with a political ideology. But they would say to me and retort, you don't think that a black life matters? You see, it's a very interesting trapdoor.
Well, I mean, it can mean two different things. That's not what I mean. It can mean two different things.
That's the point.
Well, I mean, if you've had this exact conversation, I understand. But if not, I mean, there's people that believe both sides, either side, neither side, one or the other. But yeah, I mean, it's not always a political statement. I don't think it's more so because there's been so much pushback in the form of other phrases to combat that phrase.
Right, because of how the phrase has been commandeered, because people use it to their benefit whenever.
But that's also like saying everything under this religious institution that happens is all the same when some of them are peaceful and some of them are very violent and commit terrorist attacks. It's like, I mean, I'm not comparing terrorist attacks to, protests that burn businesses down. Yes, that's bad, but it's not the same as, 30 people dying in a car bomb. But
well, yeah.
What I'm saying is that you can't lump them all together, because it's like you can be part of the movement that you feel. But yes, maybe the organization more so, like the actual official organization is what you mean. Or maybe not what you mean, but what I'm thinking of is what you mean.
Right, correct. And this is the point. Like, I know that they're two different things. When I say, of course, when I say I don't agree with Black Lives Matter, I'm saying I don't agree with a political ideology, but in the literal sense of Black Lives Matter, what I was yes, I agree with that. And in the literal sense of all lives matter, yes, I agree with that. But in the political sense of all lives matter, that they're trying to do the same fucking thing. So I disagree with that as well.
It's just what we were talking about earlier with the back and forth of the right and left. That's all it ever does. It's predictable, but it's different because of different tools we get given as us apes. We get they're like, here, new tool, and we're like, we're gonna fuck with people with this. That's literally what we all do at one level or another, obviously. Just a bunch of trolls.
I was listening to Travis, the guy who was abducted by aliens.
Oh, I've been listening to that. It's been fucking amazing.
Fascinating.
I love this guy. He's so calm.
Yeah. And he's obviously thought about this a ton.
I gotta watch that movie.
I need to too. He's reached some very philosophical conclusions that obviously I wholeheartily agree with.
Yeah, he sounded very intelligent.
He's really thought about this stuff, and he's like, and Joe Rogan asks him like, he says people ask him the question, if aliens existed, why haven't they just landed on the White House lawn and announced themselves? And he's like, if you have observed human beings for even a day.
Specifically January 6th.
Bruh, you would say to yourself, all that would happen is that immediately this group would say, can I get the weapons to kill this group? That's all that would happen, almost within days. And then he said, all right, imagine if they started existing within our society. How long before we started discriminating against them?
Yeah, because they look different.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
How long?
Yep.
And I was like, fuck, this guy he's really thought about this shit. That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
I couldn't agree more.
I just listened to that part today, and I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, damn, he makes such a good point. They do not want to fuck with us. They've only come just to like, let me take one up, let me poke him a little bit, maybe stick something up his ass. I don't know if that's how it works, but then we'll drop him back off safely. He'll tell a story. They'll be like, this motherfucker's crazy. And then, now of course we have technology where we can capture it, and there's been videos, and now we have like government officials and Navy pilots and shit coming out saying, what they saw and stuff. And it's like, well, shit, that kind of proves what this guy's saying, is that they just don't want to really come fuck with us. Like, that's why they haven't landed on the lawn. Have you seen our last, have you seen everything? It doesn't matter what I say. Anything.
Yeah, man.
Please come visit.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something that had kind of shook me to my core. That it kind of reminds me how apish I am, right?
That's where this started.
I'm an ape. I'm a legit ape, bro.
We all are.
And let me tell you, we have these very deep intellectual conversations, and we explore the crevices of our minds. And it kind of, I don't know if this does it for you, but for some reason, it tricks me into thinking like, I think I'm a higher being, and not in an egotistical way.
Yeah,
but like
you're just different. You live different.
I'm thinking the right things. I'm above the bullshit. Okay.
We are the only ones that I just read this. God damn it. I folded back pages. I underlined shit. I should go get it. But
yeah.
I forget. But it's like we are the only species that can do something. That's what separates us from other animals. We
can set goals. That's literally
set goals.
We can set goals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Work together
set goals
in larger groups than a certain amount as well.
We can set complex goals into the future and work together.
I think the number's like 150 when it comes to like chimpanzees or something. And after that, it was just like,
oh, what's the number called again? There's a specific word for that number. Is it the Dunbar number?
Oh, it might be. That sounds familiar.
I might be wrong about that, but yeah, 150 is right. It's the right where you can get up to. And literally 151 and onwards, communication starts breaking down.
Yeah.
But 150, up to 150, you can self-govern. You don't have to elect leaders. You can have 150 people, and they will navigate their relationships and their goings about without an overarching leader.
I guess that's why I like the tribes you see that they come across in the jungle or read about in, far off places, that they most of the time are low in numbers. I mean, obviously, maybe they don't have access to the modern day technology because they're still living in the, past, I guess. But
in the future.
Yeah, they, tend to have smaller numbers, I feel like.
Yeah. I think it's just the natural way we've existed. But let me get back to the story I was telling. So we have no, you're good. That's part of it. We have these conversations, and you think to yourself like maybe through these conversations I'm reaching some like higher level of understanding about myself, and I'm leaving the primate sphere and I'm leveling up to some more philosophical being. Well, I'm at the gym playing basketball, and me and this guy get into it, and I tell him like, hey man, I don't feel like arguing. I'm in a really bad mood today. I'm begging you to please let this go. So I sit down. He just keeps yapping to one of my friends, just talking. Nah, he always complaining. He always crying, blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking at these guys sitting next to me. I'm like, this dude is crazy. Why does he keep talking? I try to squash it. I'm going to knock this guy the fuck out. And I sit there and I'm just like trying to control myself. And then he calls me a fucking female. Bro, lost it. I just knocked his ass out.
Damn.
Right? And immediately after it happened, I was pretty mad at myself, but I was mad at him because like, if you had just shut up, I wouldn't have gotten here. But at the same time, I should have had more self-control. So that, and I, in the days and weeks that passed, I ended up feeling really, really bad about it and I also kind of shocked myself a little bit. Because a week prior to that happening, I was driving in the car, and for whatever reason, I thought to myself, I think I'm done getting in fights. I'm 31. My days of fighting are over. And a week later, I get into one. A week later.
Makes sense.
And it helped me realize, like, no matter how many books I read, no matter how intellectual I try to seem or talk, I'm still a fucking baboon, man. And it's a frustrating thing to deal with.
Specifically, but I don't know if that's one of our direct ancestors. But,
Like, I'm a fucking orangutan, and it's frustrating, dude.
Even further off. Don't say gorilla. I don't like either.
No, but
I guess we're related somehow to all of them.
Yeah, to all of them. The closest relative is probably the bonobos and the chimpanzees, but
yeah,
no, but it's a frustrating thing to realize that underneath it all, no matter how much you read, no matter how techie you are, there's this fucking chimp just laying in the dusk, just waiting.
It's almost like you notice it anytime you get like mad for no reason.
Yes,
the same thing happens to me when I
frustrating.
Notice that. Yeah, you're like, God damn
I'm a chimp.
Mad again, but at me for being stupid. God damn it.
Fucking right. But and I think this is why, us as guys, working out really helps. Doing jujitsu, any contact sport really helps for you to bump up against that chimpanzee often and realize that chimpanzee exists. Because I think with a lot of guys, they end up ignoring the chimp, and when the chimp comes out, he has been laying in wait too long, and then the destruction could be far too great, right? But I think it's a very good thing to realize, like, yo, at the end of the day, man, if somebody hits the right button, says the right thing, and it could be about your wife, it could be about your mom, it could be about your brother. All somebody does or needs to do is find that button, and if they hit that button, you're gone, bro.
Yep,
you're gone, man.
So
yeah, so that's if I'm a higher being and I'm looking at us, I'm saying to myself, it's just like you and an ant, right?
Yeah.
If you why don't you spend your time trying to explain or show ants your cell phone? You're just nowhere close to that.
Plus,
right?
What he said about the age of, this is a guy on Rogan that we're talking about that was abducted by aliens when he was younger, like 22. But he was talking about like the age of certain galaxies, and like when they formed, and it's like our galaxy wasn't like the first one, It does, who knows if it was the first one? So they could be, their planets could be like ours, where, breathable air close enough to the sun to get warmth, and life to grow, but they could have started way ahead of us. So our technology in, 1,000 years from now, or even 1,000,000 years from now, if the Earth's still around, what could that be? And if we get to that point, without destroying ourselves, it maybe could be of the level of, aliens, if they exist. I'm saying they exist.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, right? The Fermi paradox or something like that, with all these galaxies and universes that exist.
Oh, they see the nukes and they're like, we're not fucking with them.
Yeah, with all these things that exist, for us to think that we're special would be kind of nutty, right? But I also that thing also hit when I remember him saying that. It makes me think. So if we know there are other stars like the sun in our galaxy, so the position we are into the sun, it isn't some special spot only in this galaxy. It's like if another planet was like next to ours in our solar system, it would look like Earth because it is a prime distance away from the sun. So if that same thing occurred elsewhere, if there's another sun and another planet in the same distance from that sun, why wouldn't it be like ours? Why wouldn't life grow? Why wouldn't that happen?
Yeah. A lot of reasons. A lot of reasons it could happen.
Yeah, I mean,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, there could be, life.
I mean, we've been hit by asteroids, so why couldn't another planet survive that too?
Yeah.
Like we've been hit by large rocks and meteors, and so why wouldn't we be able to survive stuff like
Uranus
that?
survived being hit by another planet, I think, and that's why it's that's why its ring is like around the top and bottom.
Yeah,
scientists think that it got hit and shifted onto its side.
Wow, that's fascinating.
And it's still like that in the sun's gravitational pull. I don't know, maybe it's Jupiter or something.
Yeah, that's fascinating. But for us to think, because I don't know what's for me. There's two things, right? Either we're alone or we're not. For me, the far scarier idea is that we're alone. That thought to me is I don't like that thought, dude.
No, that's real scary. You just made me a little scared. I didn't even think about
like that thought, dude.
We're alone.
Shit's freaky, dude.
What? We're it?
This is it?
This is the one try?
No, I don't want that, bro.
Fuck, that's a lot of pressure.
That's a lot, dude.
If more people knew about that, we might start turning this around. I don't know.
Yeah, turn this franchise around, baby. That's the far scarier thought to me. And that people who want us to be the only thing so badly, I'm like, do you understand the implications of that? that if life ceased here,
that
life ceased everywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure there's religions that explain that away, obviously, but I've pushed away from it for that being, one of the reasons of just like we're not special at all. There's we're not. It's hard for people to realize they're not special or like we're not unique. Yeah. Like this is something that could happen. Oh my God, there are so many fucking planets. Yep. So many. Every single star has some sort of body orbiting it. Yep. There could be anything on there. I mean, shit, we don't even know what's on the ones near us. Yep. Near us.
Dude,
quotes around.
We don't even know 90% of what's in the ocean.
Please, Elon, take us to Mars. Oh yeah, I know for sure. That's okay. The ocean scares the shit out of me.
Right, and the ocean might as well be the galaxy, bro.
I know. I'll get in it, but I'm not. I don't want to go away from land that far. Like away from. I'm good on that.
Son,
that's like being in space. It's kind of like being in space.
Yep.
My friends have asked me to go deep sea fishing, and I'm like, "Can you see land?" And they're like, "Nah," and I'm like, "Nope, not going." I don't even know if I trust you that much with a boat. I've only been on it like a couple times.
No, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust Captain Phillips like that with a boat, bro. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit.
I prefer, but yeah, I mean, because there could be things in the ocean we don't even know about.
Yep.
Like
entirely new species.
Big things. Things. Mm-hmm. One thing I wanted to mention about the alien stuff is like, not only do they see how stupid we are, I know they've been able to see the media we've made about them. And I bet some of it they're like, oh shit, this is pretty good. Like this is damn somebody saw somebody who got
Have
seen.
You read the Earth
who got seen? They're like, who got seen? But then some other ones.
God
like,
damn it, Martha!
Yeah,
did you leave your car on Earth?
Other ones with all the tentacles and stuff. I mean, hey, fuck, don't come for me, tentacle ones. But I mean, I don't know. It's just funny that there's all the different things about them, and they might have the technology just to already, they get the advanced copy of Contact or whatever the fuck the new movie is.
Dude, I will always, Neil deGrasse Tyson is one of my favorite people out there, and I will always refer back to a statement he made about why we haven't come into contact with them or why it's been so sporadic. But basically, he said it's like trying to teach a chimpanzee how to use a cell phone or something to that effect. It's, just no matter, or trying to teach it math. No matter what you did, unless the chimpanzee evolved on its own, or you as a human being had some special ability to make the chimpanzee understand math, there's just nothing you can do about it. So alien life may be in the same type of realm in where even if they wanted to show us something, we just couldn't grasp it. It would just be too it would just be too beyond us, right?
It would be maybe showing an iPhone to a monkey.
Yeah, and maybe they are here in some capacity, but they're such a different type of being that our eyes can't even perceive them. Like, who knows, man? And what frustrates me the most about talking to people sometimes, and which is why I really enjoy talking to you, you're open to the idea that fucking anything could be the answer. You're like, I say some wild shit to you, and you're like, yeah, that shit probably could happen. I'm like, I love that shit because
I mean, if you don't know, it's like you can't. I mean, it could. There's a lot of things that are possible.
Yeah, like, and the people who just are so sure. Do you know the amount? Look at all the information we have in front of us right here on our computer. Do you know that only represents the tiniest of tiny fractions of what is to be known?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like a grain of sand in all of the sand of what could be known. And even yet, people still act like we got it fucking figured out, bro. Look, do you know they don't know how anesthesia works? They just know it works. What? I swear to you, bro. They don't know how it works.
That's some mad scientist shit back in the day. They were like,
yes, bro.
They were like, can you feel your arm? They're like, no. Does it hurt? No. Are you dead the next day? No.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Just give them a little, though. Give them a little. How many people have died from anesthesia overdose?
Oh, my grandfather did.
What?
Yep, in Kenya.
Damn. Holy shit.
He went in for routine back surgery. Too much anesthesia, never woke up. Yep. It happens a ton, bro. We don't know how it works. And
I've had it multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. And I listened to a doctor talk about it, and he said, we don't know if we're numbing your pain or we don't know if we're cleaning your memory so you don't remember the pain. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck does that mean?
Holy shit.
It fucking blew my mind, man.
That's pretty wild.
Yo, I was like, holy shit. So I could be experiencing the pain, but then my memory is just gone of it? I said, go fuck yourself. I wish I never heard that.
Oh my God. That's wild.
Wild, man.
Damn.
It's wild, man.
I'm just thinking back to all the times I've woken up from surgery. Like,
me too, dude.
Was I awake?
Was I privy to the whole fucking thing?
God.
Dude.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's a trip, man. And to think of it, and there's a lot of people out there who, like, doctors are giving me anesthesia. They know it. And a lot of people have no idea, right? So if we don't even know something like that, think about how many other things we just don't know. Again, another very obvious one is consciousness.
A lot of
we
the
have
medical
no idea.
field. Yeah. Well, that's not necessarily medical, but yeah, conscious. Yeah.
Right.
We have no idea what
something
that is.
that is every human being has. Every human being has consciousness. We have no fucking idea what it is. No fucking idea.
That's the beauty of it.
Exactly. And people who have their minds closed off,
you can't use it to understand it.
I know. What the fuck? It's so crazy, dude.
I gotta write that down. That is the title to the show.
Yeah. It's. Oh man, I love how much there is to know about life. And I think that's what keeps the people like the Bill Gates, the Jeff Bezos, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the
still
Steve
going.
Jobs.
They're old.
That's what keeps them going, is that the Neil deGrasse Tysons, it's that curiosity that never fucking dies. And what's sad to see is in so many of us adults around the age of 30, that curiosity just cuts off.
It's weird. I see that in so many people. Maybe it's when you have a kid. I don't know, but you got to make time for the curiosity.
Man.
It's just a different curiosity, I guess, with a kid.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. I've just seen I want to be sure to explain that I understand how life just gets wild, and you just sometimes don't have the time and the wherewithal, and I get it, but man, I feel like if you ever let that stick, if you ever let it stick to where you're like, I think I got life figured out and it is what it is, oh, that is a sad day, man. That's a sad day, because I know for me personally, the greatest moment, and I've said this before, the greatest moment, the greatest day I had in my life was the day that I figured out I know nothing. That was the most fascinating day of my life. Right?
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh shit, there's so much to know.
You could learn anything.
I could learn anything. Now, I'm pretty fucking dumb, so I can't learn anything.
I
but
wish I could try. I had realized that in college. I didn't.
Me too.
Till after.
Me too.
And I was like, oh God, I love learning stuff.
And me too, man. Imagine if some
what the fuck was I doing and I paid all that back? God damn it.
Dude, imagine if some teacher had drawn that curiosity out of you, dude. Imagine
where
I don't know.
you
would be and what you would be doing right now.
I think it's also, what is it? Your brain isn't fully developed till you're like 25, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like maybe around then is when it starts. I don't really remember when it was, but like the fact that I don't know, I really don't know what it is. And it's consciousness.
Yeah.
It unlocks to the next level at 25 or around that time, and you're like, oh shit, what is all this?
It's so weird.
Or maybe it's after you do shrooms. I don't know. It could be one of the other.
Yeah, I know when that hood was peeled back. It's weird. It's you try to see if you can go back to that previous state of mind, but it's impossible, right? You can't. And yeah, it's life is interesting, man. But I hope for myself, for you, for anybody, that they never lose that curiosity and just always keep asking questions. And I think that's one of the beauties of having kids, is that their curiosity is quadruple whatever yours is, and they want to know why this. I know a lot of people hate the why stage in kids, but I think I'm going to be one of those few parents that's going to be inclined towards liking that stage.
Oh yeah,
because I'm just as curious.
For sure. It's like, I don't know. Let me figure that out.
Let's figure that out together,
Google has help with that.
Oh, for sure. Sure. So I can't wait to see that curiosity in my kids and revel in that curiosity with them. That is, I think, man.
Sounds good.
Fuck, that's deep, dude. But yeah. People out there, look. Don't lose your curiosity.
We went very out there for that last topic. I feel like it morphed from Capitol riot to aliens, which is fine. And consciousness was thrown in there. But two things I wanted to discuss. We'll get into the first one, which you brought up right before the call. Virginia legalized sports gambling.
Yes.
With super quietly too, or while I was in Costa Rica and didn't realize it.
Yeah, not that quietly, sir.
Yeah,
they told everybody.
I didn't know. I had no idea. My brother, because I also have another app I use, Bovada, that I bet on.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I didn't really. I was like, oh cool, another betting app.
They take a lot of your money,
but I had no idea. No, Bovada didn't take any of it. They give you. There's so many bonuses and stuff on there. You have to use Bitcoin, which is, not a problem. Because you can just buy Bitcoin and send it to the address in like 10 minutes. But I like the FanDuel one a lot. Or wait, is it FanDuel? Yeah,
FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yeah, I like the boost thing. It's pretty awesome that you can bet on those. I was betting on UFC and lost a bunch of money and then bet on the two championship games 2 weeks ago and won it all back. So it was fine.
Yeah. I sent you the link because I wanted to get that $50 extra.
Yeah, I already signed up. Sorry.
Too late.
I saw the link and I was like, I know I sent it.
I tried to come up, bro. Yeah, man, I love it. I don't
because you get it. You got like a free $100 when you signed up, right? Yeah, Yep. I'm still playing off of that.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely not.
Are you betting on the Super Bowl?
Of course, I'm betting on the Super Bowl.
Please. Are you betting on Tom?
I have a 10 player prop parlay.
Oh, what?
And I put $5 down.
That's insane.
If I hit on this parlay, I win $5,000.
I know, but it's insane. Because what is it, like receiving yards and rushing yards and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's like Tom Brady has to throw for more than 300. Patrick Mahomes has to throw for less than 350. Leonard Fournette has to get over 50 rushing yards. Yeah. Leonard Fournette has to rush for over 50. Ronald Jones has to go over 38. So I did. Antonio Brown has to have 40 receiving yards. So I did reasonable. I just did a bunch of reasonable. Like if I told you, I bet Leonard Fournette needs to get over 40 rushing yards. You're like, hurt. Okay. But yeah, some dumb shit's gonna happen.
I try to do that with all the UFC fights, and I even I put in different combinations too. For I'm gonna pick all the favorites real quick for this whole event. Like it's 10 fights or something.
Yeah,
I'll pick all of the favorites. And then there's 4 upsets. I'm like, motherfucker. And I only put $5 on it to win a bunch. But then I did that on 5 different ones. Combinations, never win any of them.
Yeah, of course.
Some of the 3-person parlays I can win, but they have to be super, super favorites.
Yeah.
There's
I win a lot on NBA parlays. Because I watch a lot of NBA basketball.
Do you know what teaser bets are?
Where you explain it, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if you can do them on there because I tried to, and then I didn't see where you could do it. But so you combine so say the Super Bowl's Chiefs -3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you pick the Chiefs -3 and the over, which is 54, I think.
Oh yeah.
So you combine those. Instead of doing a parlay, you do a teaser where you basically buy points. So instead of being plus 250 of that happening, it becomes minus 110, which is very reasonable, to win basically your money back even.
Yeah.
And it becomes you get 6 points for being one minus 110. So instead of being -3 Chiefs, it's +3 Chiefs. So they can lose still, and you can cover the bet. And then it's instead of over 54, it's over 48 because that's -6. So it drops that score a little bit. So those bets are I mean, they're just the odds of
Much
them hitting
safer.
are
Yeah.
exactly. So it's helpful for games that are close as well.
Yeah,
because you can even take Patriots with that, or Patriots. I said Patriots, fucking Buccaneers with that.
Yeah,
and they would go to +9 because they're right now +3. So with that 6 points, they go +9. So if Tom Brady wins, it's like, or just makes it a fucking close game. Yeah, that's probably the safer bet, actually.
Yeah,
because it's fucking Tom Brady.
Yeah, dude. No, damn, what was I gonna say? So with how I bet, right? So I know I have a personality to where I can get really wrapped up in everything and anything, and especially betting. I love betting, right? As most dudes do. So what I do
makes sports interesting that we're bored.
I watched the whole Wizards game.
Score the first basket, goddamn!
I watched the whole Wizards game, and they were getting blown out by 20 points, bro. That's what betting does.
Yeah, right. You were betting on the over.
I had a bunch of player props, like Brad Beal had right.
Nice.
So this is my betting strategy is I allot myself $50 a month to bet with, and I only do parlays and combining player props. So I only bet $1 here, $2 there, $5 here, and I usually hit on one or two of them. I win $50, $100, and then I do it off that because I don't want to get into positions where I'm putting down $100, $200, because then I know what that leads to.
Yeah, it can lead to that.
Very slippery slope, bro. Very slippery slope. So I'm just keeping it like I'm just playing with house money. Yeah, it's like $50 a month. $50 a month, right? And you put down a $2 to win. Like,
why was this not legal before? It's such a fucking moneymaker. Goddamn.
It's so weird.
It's so stupid that they try to regulate shit like that.
Yeah,
but it's great that it's awesome now because now I have so many more friends that are texting me about bets. So yeah, let me know your picks. I got people on Twitter that I follow. You might have to use the Twitter for this show to follow some bet people.
Yeah.
One guy called one bet a day. He does a lot of college basketball. He puts in one bet a day. He's like 9-3, won 6 in a row right now. He's just starting out. So I was like, all right, I'm
gonna follow this guy. Yeah, now I have an NBA little guru site.
Oh, nice.
And they tell me this one you should bet the spread.
Nice.
And this is why. This one you should bet the money line. This is why. And then I'll change it up
many places
based on what
advice.
I know. But there's thousands.
Yeah.
But I watch enough.
The bets
NBA
that are most satisfying
are
the ones that you bet yourself and win.
Exactly.
That you don't need, because I did the Super Bowl that way, and I'm just like, all right, I'm good with that. But I love the Super Bowl too with the prop bets of Gatorade color, fucking national anthem. Will it be under or over a minute and a half? And
I love that.
There's 2 people singing it this year. It's got to be over a minute and a half. Gotta be. I was betting. I was betting on the debate props.
Yeah,
we watched the first one, and the debate props were like, "Who will say this word first?" And I was like, "That's Trump right there. I got him. I won. I actually won some money on the debate because of that." It's funny that they
it makes things way more interesting. Yeah, everything more interesting.
I remember a couple years ago the Falcons Saints one, or no, Falcons Patriots was will Bill Belichick's sweatshirt have sleeves or not? And it was like, obviously, he cuts them a lot. So having sleeves was like the under, and I think he had sleeves on.
Oh man, did you bet it on sleeves?
No, it was like no, hell no. I bet no sleeves. What the fuck?
Oh, that's great, man. That was great.
But the other thing I wanted to touch on real quick was shit. I would just say GameStop, but it's so much more than that now.
Oh my god. It is. Yes. So I followed it quite closely. Bought a few shares of AMC and GameStop. Sold it when I made money. I actually lost money. I'll be honest with you. I lost money. I didn't want to say that publicly. I lost money.
I mean,
I lost a couple $100. It was nothing crazy.
You only lose money if you sell.
Yeah, I did, and I think here's my philosophy, right? This is where I got out. I reminded myself that when it comes to the internet, the attention span is too short, and as you can already see, there's a few diehards that are clinging, but most people have lost interest and have moved on.
That's also what the news is putting out as well. So you never.
I'm on Wall Street Bets. I'm on the Reddit page heavily.
There's not any volume of the stock trading right now, though. It's like there's literally no one buying or selling it.
Yeah, everybody's holding
currently.
But there's a lot of people who sold previously.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people sold,
yeah.
And I just think there was a little bit of people just. It's the internet and people going, I've got my fill of this. I'm moving on.
It was, but most of that had to do with Robinhood, the number one app for people to do that trading on, limiting the trading of all of the stocks that everyone wanted to trade.
Certainly. I'm sure that had a lot to do with
it. There were lawsuits started against them, and I guess today it came out that the SEC is now looking through Reddit to see if they can find, I don't know, I have no idea, evidence or something.
Really?
It's just like, God, where are we at right now? But also, we watched the Big Short last night. I was in the mood. I was in the mood, and Lydia hadn't seen it, and I was like, all right, fuck yeah, we'll watch this. It's very relevant right now.
Yeah,
and it was just like, God, nothing happens to anyone ever. Like, there's a part at the end where Ryan Gosling's character is like narrating the movie, and he's saying like, they all got fined, and then they got found guilty, and they went to prison for lengthy sentences, and then he says, psych, like, or something like that. Like, nope, that didn't happen. And Lydia was like, what?
I've been,
it's like the people that do the manipulation, the things that are illegal or supposedly illegal, don't get in trouble for it. They're not going to, and the government's going to back them every time.
Yeah, which is why I tell people who are criminally inclined, this whole idea of like robbing a liquor store or a 7-Eleven, an armed robbery, robbing someone's house, that is stupid. Because if you get caught doing that, you're doing 15 to 20 years in prison, if not your whole life. What I'd suggest to the criminally minded, if you're listening to this podcast, white collar crimes. Because if you can figure it out, even if you get caught, you could end up not going to jail. You can steal millions of dollars from people and not do a day in fucking jail, man.
Yep.
It is, and man, to see all those people's lives ruined because of the 2008 financial crisis, and all those same people who caused it got bailed out, fat in their pocket,
gave themselves bonuses.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And meanwhile, you had people living in the streets, man.
Yeah.
This is why I was hoping that the whole GameStop thing was going to be a bigger movement. I was hoping that people would stay strong. I was hoping
I think there's still something there.
I do believe there is something there, but I think it's for a very few unusually patient people. But for the most part, everybody else has moved on. And I think I genuinely am a still supporter of it, and I want it to go on because I genuinely felt
a lot of that has to do with how, as I said before, Robinhood restricted trading where you couldn't buy it, but you could sell it. So it's like, oh shit, I lost money. They won't let me buy anymore at a discount, obviously. I can't, I don't know if I can wait for it to go back up. I wanted to make a quick dollar. I can only sell it. I'm going to sell now and lose all this money. That happened to a ton of people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that's what I think people would be, suing over. But then it comes into play of, they're a private company. So what do we do about that? But they are backed by other, billion-dollar hedge funds. So it's like, Jesus Christ. I can't imagine what illegal shit went on to just put an end to the internet trying to rise up against the powers that be, basically.
Oh, they squashed it out pretty well.
Let me get in there and just it's not even worth going into really because everyone's heard about it. It's just wild. They sold movie rights last week on Friday. Netflix and another network are developing movies.
Wow.
That's how fucking wild this is. Like,
yeah, I read the story of the guy who started the whole thing. It's fascinating. And again, I just wish the internet had some stick-to-itiveness. I just wish because
it's been going on since August, and that subreddit has grown from like 800,000 to 6 million now, 7 million.
Yeah, no, I'm in it, and I'm honestly, if the GameStop share price drops below 50, I'm gonna buy more. But I just hope that people stick to their guns, but it's a lot to ask where most people don't have the money to stick to their guns. And if somebody looks at their account,
dude, it's wild. The posts I see on there where they're like 400K order just put in to buy however many shares, and it's like,
it's wild.
You have 400K to put into
it's
this?
Nutty.
It's nutty. What the fuck do you do?
It's nutty. I've seen those posts.
I'm like, what the
they're
shit
screenshotting their bank accounts too.
Yeah. And it's like, what the shit? This dude's like down $2 million today. Still holding.
I'm like, my tendies.
How much did you? You have how much to start? Like, you still got 11? What the fuck?
Yeah,
you're gonna be crazy, good, man. I think.
There are some.
Is this just your investment account? What is in your bank account, sir?
Yeah. Nah, there's some filthy rich people on that subreddit.
Yeah. It's crazy because that one guy that they say started with 50K, and he was just
33 million.
Yeah, he just liked. Well, it's lower than that now.
Oh well, yeah, now
it's like 20 something now, but. He decided to I'm gonna purchase $55,000 or $50,000 worth of this stock when it's only $10 or something. I mean, something astronomically low, and he started some sort of movement, I guess. But he was just updating people on it. Like he was just like, I'm gonna put all this money into this, see what happens, and then it just turned into this thing. Because a lot of the time on there, people are posting, as they call it, loss porn. Like what they've lost, because of their YOLO, because they do that with their money. They're just like, took all this money out of my retirement account, gonna throw it in here, see what happens. Lost 14K today. It's just like,
holy shit, dude, that's wild.
That's why I got on there in the first place, because I was like, I don't really get into the stock market anymore. Let me just get on here and see what people are investing in, like see what they're talking. And I just thought it was funny. Like a lot of the stuff was hilarious, and I'm just like, all right, I'll stick around. And then one day saw this thing about GameStop. It was in December, and purchased most of my shares then. And it was just like, what is going on?
Weird thing is, you have a phone and you never fucking texted me.
Dude, it was like such an impulse thing too, where I just had money left over in Robinhood because I bought safe stocks like PayPal and Microsoft with some money I had from a recent paycheck. And I was like, all right. What else can I buy here? Oh, GameStop's cheap as fuck. I like GameStop. I used to go there all the time when I needed to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I will say that my battery is blinking at me.
That's cool.
About to die.
I gotta do many things with that dog because I don't think there's a light on in my house right now, and he's probably in complete darkness.
I gotta walk my dog too. This crazy bitch.
All right, man. Well, it was good doing this again. We'll get together sooner than next time. Although I am, in 2 weeks I'm going to be in Salt Lake City. I'm going skiing out there. So,
all right. So let's try to get 2 before you rock.
All right, that works. All right, we'll talk about it. We'll text about it.
All right, power to the people.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Stay strong with GameStop, guys.
Thanks for listening. Hold strong. Diamond hands. Later.